Work and energy. Let's know about what is work. Examples of work done or work not done. How much work is done? What is energy? Types of energy. Energy resources. Renewable and non-renewable energy. What is work? Have you ever studied for long hours during your examination and felt very tired? You might feel that you have worked so hard and therefore you are feeling tired and exhausted. However, according to science, you have not done any work at all. In science, the word work has a different meaning than what you are familiar with. In science, work is said to be done when a force applied on a body causes it to be displaced or moved through a certain distance in the direction of the force applied. Examples of work done or work not done. As we know, in science, for work to be done, there has to be some movement in the direction of the applied force. So in the following cases, work is said to be done. A boy playing football or doing skating. Shooting a bullet from a revolver. Running on a track. Pushing a cart in a supermarket. Cycling. Swimming. On the other hand, in the following cases, work is not said to be done, though there is application of force. Studying and preparing for your exams for long hours. Sitting in the computer for long hours in the office. Pushing a wall, applying great force. Working out on a treadmill. In the examples cited above, although studying for your exams requires great amount of mental work, it does not involve any physical work. Since there is no movement or displacement, work is not said to be done. Similar is the case when you are working on your computer or on a treadmill. When you try to push a wall by applying great force, the wall doesn't move, and therefore no work is said to be done. How much work is done? How can we determine how much work is being done? Let us assume that Sahil has applied some force to move an auto rickshaw through a distance of 10 meters. Since movement has taken place in the direction of the force applied, work is said to be done. Saran has applied some force to move a car through a distance of 10 meters. Since the weight of the car is double the weight of the auto rickshaw, he has to apply double the force. So, double the work is done. Therefore, work done depends on the force applied. In another case, Rahul uses some force to push his bike for 10 meters. He is said to have done some work. Rahul uses some force to push his bike for a distance of 20 meters. He is said to have done double the work. Therefore, work done also depends on the distance moved. Do you know? 1. The word energy comes from the Greek word energia. 2. Most types of energies are either a form of kinetic energy or potential energy. 3. The law of conservation of energy states that energy can only be transformed, it can't be created or destroyed. 4. Food contains chemical energy which is used by living organisms such as animals to grow and reproduce. Food energy is usually measured in calories or joules. What is energy? The term energy is very closely associated with work. When an athlete runs a race or a swimmer swims, he/she becomes tired and exhausted. Whenever work is done, energy is used up. Energy is the capacity to work. Energy has to be supplied to the body by means of energy-giving food. Carbohydrates and fats are some examples of energy-giving foods. Cereals, sugar, potatoes are examples of carbohydrates. Oil, ghee, nuts, butter, cheese are examples of food containing fats. The amount of energy needed by different people depends on the nature of work that they do. For example, a daily laborer or an athlete needs more energy than a computer professional. Do you know? 1. Every day there are over 8 million lightning strikes across the world. Each bolt superheats the air around it to about 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 times hotter than the sun. 2. 1 hour's worth of energy from the sun could power the earth for a year. 3. 8 people riding bikes for 24 hours can generate enough power to run a TV for a week. 4. Mount Everest is a minnow compared to the world's deepest oil well. Types of energy. Energy can be classified into various types. For example, mechanical energy, kinetic energy, chemical energy, electrical energy, heat energy, light energy, sound energy, wind energy, solar energy, etc. Energy can be broadly classified under two forms: kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy is the energy possessed by a body due to its motion. Example, a fast-moving car or an arrow that is shot possesses kinetic energy. Potential energy is the energy possessed by a body due to its position. Example, a raised hammer has great energy. This form of energy is called potential energy. Mechanical energy. Mechanical energy. It is the energy that can be used to do work. It is the sum of both potential and kinetic energy. A demolition machine is a perfect example of possessing mechanical energy. When the wrecking ball is raised vertically above the ground, it is said to possess potential energy. When the ball is released to hit a wall, it possesses kinetic energy, which helps to break the wall. Electrical energy. It is the movement of charged particles, negative and positive. This form of energy can come from batteries or power plants and is also found in nature. Power plants burn fuel to make electricity, which is then sent to houses and industries through wires. This energy is in turn used to run appliances. Light energy. The main source of light energy is the sun. Light energy is used by plants to make food by a process called photosynthesis. Scientists use it to create lasers. In a solar cell, light energy is converted into electric energy. Electric bulbs, candles, tube lights, etc. are other sources of light energy. Thermal or heat energy. This energy is created due to vibration of atoms and molecules inside substances. The faster they move, the more energy they create and the hotter they become. Example, water boiling in a kettle possesses thermal energy. Chemical energy. It is the energy stored in the bonds of atoms and molecules. This energy is released in a chemical reaction in the form of heat. Example, during burning of coal, chemical energy is changed into light and heat energy. Sound energy. It is a form of energy that is produced due to vibration of particles. Example, sonar uses sound waves to detect and determine the location, size and relative motion of underwater objects. The use of sonar system is useful in detecting icebergs at sea. Energy resources, renewable and non-renewable. The sources of energy may be divided into two categories: renewable and non-renewable energy resources. Non-renewable energy resources are those that are available in short supply in nature. They take millions of years to regenerate if they are exhausted. For example, coal, petroleum, and natural gas, etc. Coal. Coal is a natural resource that is formed from the remains of trees and other vegetation that are buried under the Earth's surface millions of years ago. Petroleum. Petroleum is a fossil fuel that is formed from the remains of ancient marine organisms that were buried millions of years ago. Natural gas. Natural gas is also formed, along with petroleum, under the oceans when marine animals die and are buried millions of years ago. Renewable energy resources are those that may be replenished naturally once they are exhausted and over a relatively short period of time. Examples of renewable energy resources are wind, water, solar, biomass, and geothermal energy resources. Do you know one? Windmills have been in use since 2000 BC and were first developed in Persia and China. Ancient mariners sailed to distant lands by making use of winds. Farmers used wind power to pump water and for grinding grains. 2. Biomass energy currently meets about 10% of human energy needs around the world. 3. Solar energy is cheaper than fossil fuels, and a solar power plant can last for 40 years or more. China is the world leader in solar energy. 4. The largest hydroelectric power station in the world is the Three Gorges Dam in China. 5. Humans have enjoyed geothermal energy in the form of hot springs for thousands of years. In a nutshell, work is said to be done when a force applied on a body causes it to be displaced or moved through a certain distance in the direction of the force applied. In science, work is said to be done if there is some movement in the direction of the applied force. If there is no movement in the direction of the applied force, no work is done. Work done depends on the force applied and also on the distance moved. Energy is the capacity to do work. Energy can be broadly classified into potential and kinetic energy. Potential energy is the energy possessed by a body due to its position. Kinetic energy is the energy possessed by a body due to its motion. Mechanical energy is the sum of both potential and kinetic energies. Other forms of energy are electrical energy, light energy, thermal energy, chemical energy, sound energy, etc. Energy resources may be either renewable or non-renewable. Non-renewable energy resources are coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. Renewable energy resources are wind, solar, and water resources, to name a